billion going into infrastructure improvements. But because of people coming out here, when there's 100,000 people here for the conference, people say, well, you know, it's a lot easier and closer than I thought it was. So that's something that over time, and we've got a number of ideas to how we can help push that message even more, because it is so much easier to get here than it used to be. Now, we need to do a good job of helping educate folks about it.
Are you all looking at
Yeah, I know 4 1/3 in the pool.
I know the Round Rock.
There he is. Holland's coming in.
We just haven't gotten to that. You know, there's a period of time for those decisions to be made that's later in September, and we've been trying to focus on what we need to focus on.
That might be a tough. That's pretty strong beliefs.
It wasn't terrible.
My start. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters. You know, I mean, that's something that everyone's got to look at together. But no decisions been made.
When we were looking for the
Was this bad to
No, I noticed the radar gun seems
Yeah, I
to
went
have
there.
technical difficulties.
Sorry.
Only when Harden just started.
Chuck, we need a backup gun. Come on.
Well, you know what? I don't know what the problem is tonight. I know on Monday night against the Twins, they found out that afternoon that sometime after the Red Sox series, the cable got cut by a construction worker. I don't know if that guy came back and did it again. But
Was it a construction worker named Harden?
Was he Yankee?
I don't know. So what do you think, red or blue?
Red. Always red.
All right, how many red? How many blue?
Love Ranger Red. I can CJ stars.
I don't know. Red makes me think too much of the Angels. But that's just
What?
Reward
Get out.
first.
Yeah, we had it first.
Why
do you think something?
I think it's, by the way, there wouldn't be any uniform changes in 11 anyway, because you have to file for it by May. But we're bringing in a branding company now to help us study, all these different things and make some decisions by next May about how we present ourselves and colors and things like that, uniforms and everything that might make a difference in 12.
Once the Rangers switched away from the red 10 years ago, whenever, about the next 8 years, the most popular question everywhere was, when are the Rangers going back to red? I mean, it was just huge.
Yeah, what's interesting, just when you look around the stands, there's a lot more red than blue. And the red we just started to sell last year, really. So
Market's back to glory days. Yeah, we had like 30 seconds of success, and like that kind of, you see people winning and they're in red. I mean, it kind of.
The thing is, when I grew up in Pittsburgh, the Steelers had never won anything. And you guys are all too young, but the Steelers up until 1972 had never won anything ever, and it was 39 years, which is kind of ironic, given the same period of time here. And then once they started winning and operating a certain way, then no one could even imagine it was ever different. That's why it's going to be here. We're going to be, every year a team, going in that, we're going to be a rough ride. And we're going to get after it every year. There's no reason in this community why we should ever take a year off. None. I mean, there are years where you have to reload. I mean, it's just the nature of things. But that doesn't mean you retreat. And I don't see us ever choosing to retreat.
The second most popular question in that 10 years was, what's the status of Jeff Zimmerman's rehab?
He's making progress.
He's throwing off the flat ground.
Yeah, he's throwing off the flat ground. That's always the next step.
Is there flat ground in Seattle? Because that's where it is.
So you plan on competing with the Yankees and Boston and payroll-wise then? We're never going to take a year off? Because to sign the Cliff Lees of the world, we got to be willing to compete.
Well, to try to beat someone at their game is foolish. You have to find your own way to compete. The Yankees, for a number of reasons, are kind of in a league of their own financially, and I think we've all seen what happens if you go into battle with conventional weapons against nuclear weapons. Next thing you know, you're holding a pea shooter. So we're not going to repeat that mistake. And the Red Sox are kind of like a 1A to their 1. But there's plenty of other teams that compete year in and year out. The Phillies and the Angels and a bunch of others. That's where we need to be. And I don't view that as any competitive disadvantage at all. Not at all. Because I think sometimes when you have nearly unlimited resources, you don't quite have the discipline. I mean, I don't think necessarily. I don't think it's as much. I think beyond a certain point, it isn't necessarily an advantage. But no, we need to get there. I mean, if we, I always distinguish between the cost of a roster and the value of a roster. Right now, the value of our roster is a lot higher than its cost because we have so many guys who are young. 4 years from now, if you put the same team in the field, it'd be a lot more. It wasn't that we raised the payroll. I mean, we would have been paying more. It was just because over time, those guys, they're going to get, they're going to move up through the system. They're going to make more money. So, to just say, well, we're going to go out next year, we're just going to go out and have a $120 million payroll. Well, that'd be dumb.
Yeah.
Because if you did that, you'd be making financial commitments that would mean that in a year or two, if you were going to be around that level, you'd have to start paring back. And I think you've all suffered through that once before. I'm not going to make you do that again. So the key is to always be ratcheting it up. Okay? To get at a certain level where then you're in a position where if for whatever reason someone leaves, you replace it and, and it works that way. So that makes
So are you a
sense.
believer in building within more than doing what the Yankees do and just sign whoever the big name is that year?
We're absolutely positive that our success is going to be built from within. That's the only sensible way to do it. Now, that doesn't mean that when you have a chance to improve yourself that you close your eyes to it. But fundamentally, if we don't continue the commitment to growing from within, we're wasting our best resource. We got a great front office, outstanding scouting and player development. I think that gives us a competitive advantage, and we're not going to forfeit it. So, when there's an opportunity, and by the way, I said back in January that in order to be aggressive at the trade deadline, for example, you've got to have financial resources, you've got to have human resources. So, there's human resources in the form of having a great farm system. So look at this year, we're 9 prospects that we're trading, to get these various pieces in place. So the thing is that even to get a guy like Lee, it still took having a good farm system. So you need a good farm system both to keep those guys and occasionally when there's a unique piece to go out and get to have the resources to go do it.
Which means we need JD. Finally, don't draft him.
Has there been any?
JD's not going anywhere.
Has there been any talk of between JD and all of you about what the future is going to be with Michael Young? Is he going to be at third base another couple of years, or is he moving to DH?
We haven't talked about it at all yet. Not at all.
You're not following the Jerry Jones Sox and Jocks mentality where you're going to come in and start being the GM yourself?
Yeah.
I've been in that clubhouse. I have no desire to pick through the jocks for the Sox. Well, this location has been fun, but we haven't scored any runs this time.
I know.
We'll give it another half inning and see what happens.
All right.